What is going on, guys? Back with another video. So we've all seen the escalation with the potential war, which has obviously resulted in some big pullbacks across the board, across different markets. And we all know how the crypto market reacts, specifically altcoins. Today, I'm going to talk about 7 altcoins that I'm going to be DCing into, which are at good levels in my opinion. And on sort of the daily, we have seen some sort of recovery on some altcoins. So it is good to see some sort of recovery. How how sustainable this recovery is, I would take with a pinch of salt because of the situation with what is going on. But ultimately, we've seen some sort of response here from Iran, which again, they've got every right to do. Um, and just how far this is going to go, of course, we're going to have to wait and see. But this guy here just seems to want to, crash everything. And just when we think we are ready to go with the markets, there's always something new coming. But anyway, if I was to sit here and talk about that, I'll be here all day. Let's get back to the markets and look for some potential, guys. So also, when it comes to when we look at rate cuts, it doesn't look likely that we're going to get any rate cuts anytime soon. What this means is, guys, that you're going to have to show some more patience. And as I've said, guys, this isn't the time to be selling, right? Most altcoins are down massively from all-time highs, and you shouldn't be selling. Literally majority of altcoins at this stage, right? If you're up on some altcoins, for example, SPX or some other virtuals or whatever, you can take profits and you can reallocate them into altcoins you think are going to perform. But anyway, let's get into the video, guys. I'm going to cover 7 altcoins that I'm currently going to DCA into, and the first one is a layer 1, which I think is probably the most undervalued high cap layer 1 currently. It is now under $1 billion in market cap. Sei. Now, the reason I like this, guys, the reason I still have conviction in this is how growing and how big the community is getting in terms of the chain, the TVL, the amount of projects building on site continues to grow. Big community, and also what they're doing in regards to EVM with the with the upgrade, I think is going to be really big. With Sei Giga, it's just going to make the chain a lot more efficient, more faster, and ultimately you're going to see more and more projects who are going to want to build with Sei. Very good engagement as well, and ultimately I think this is a project which has long-term potential, and for that reason, that is why I'm currently DCing into this. Very good levels. You haven't missed the boat with Sei. Unlike Sui, which is already up massively, Sei is still very cheap. And I can see this doing potentially 10 to 15x from here, even more. But for me, this is the first one that I would be DCing into. The second one is another high cap in the form of Ondo. In my opinion, the best RWA project, which I think has a lot of long-term growth. 2.5 billion in market caps. Of course, it is higher in market cap, but with the Ondo chain, with the global markets, I think this is another one which has potential to perform long term. Again, could give you a potential of a 10x, even more. Massive partners on board, big backers, and ultimately this is going to perform in the long run, in my opinion. And that would be the second altcoin I would DCA into. The third one, we're getting to the low cap sector, and for me, this is one of the most undervalued AI projects across the whole board. OORT, $18 million in market cap, guys, and again, this is pretty much at the bottom. And in terms of conviction, in terms of a working product, in terms of generating revenue, they are doing all of that. The only thing that they need to work on, which again people are talking about, I've spoken about before, is to just push the project out there, right? I know currently in these current conditions, they might think, well, marketing isn't the most important because the whole impression, the whole narrative is not the best in terms of hype. But again, we've seen the likes of AI tech, we've seen the likes of Tars AI, how they are performing in terms of marketing, and OORT have, in my opinion, better products than both those projects. They just need to, push this out and get people talking about it and get people aware of what they offer, right? So again, guys, I still believe in it long term, and for me, at these levels, this is a very good buy and something which can give you some huge returns from here. That would be the third one. The fourth one, another micro cap, low cap in the form of prop base. This is an RWA project, which is heavily undervalued. Again, guys, you're getting this very close to the bottom. And the reason I like this as well, guys, is it gives you the opportunity to invest in real estate, and not just any real estate. You've got high quality properties, high quality hotel chains that you can invest, I think as little as $100 into. on Aptos, also on Base, and what they're doing in terms of engagement, in terms of getting more properties on board. They've got a very good roadmap, more listings planned, very good engagement with the community as well. For me, this is a no-brainer. Very good website as well, how they updated the website. And for me, I would also look to DC into this as well. Of course, guys, not financial advice, just a very good opportunity, right? You're getting this very early, in my opinion, and this is going to perform well in the long run. Next one is one which I haven't covered in a while, Graphlink Chain. A lot of people asking, am I still bullish on it? I am still bullish on it. Of course, they got into the AI agent narrative as well, which of course has struggled since that massive hype that it had. But in terms of a project which I think can have potential to run again, I think Graphlink is a decent option. Of course, comes with high risk, but in terms of tokenomics, in terms of you can see here, majority of the supply is out, and again, it's not close to the bottom because this would have a massive rally. But in terms of the past year or so, it has sort of just trended sideways. Of course, we've seen it dip as well. But in terms of what they're doing, in terms of the community, this is another one which I can see performing well. Also, what they're looking to do is get into, DeFi and AI as a narrative, working on their AI agents and basically helping. One of the main points of this as well, looking to basically, appeal to traders who want to trade, whether it's on centralized exchanges, DEXs, with, trade signals, buy signals, that sort of thing. And also the tools they offer, integrations they've got, and also their plans to grow the Graphlink chain, which I think has a lot of potential. It's a very fast chain. It's really cheap as well to use. And I think, this is another one which does have potential. They're just probably waiting for the right time, which is understandable. Also, they've got plans for a launch pad. So yeah, this is one to keep an eye on. I do still believe in this. Of course, it is higher risk, but for me, I do see an opportunity in this when the market, pulls back. So yeah, guys, that would be the next one, Graphlink. Very small market cap, of course, a micro cap. And definitely keep an eye on this. Next one, another micro cap, Crypto Autos, which I am very bullish on, guys. Now this is, a bit different. This is into the car industry, and the car industry is massive. $4.1 trillion according to this. But the reason I like this, guys, is what they're doing in terms of marketing, right? Very strong marketing. And, they've recently partnered with a massive, massive insurance firm, Howden's, which is massive. This isn't sort of, little small news, which is huge, right? So again, this is a partnership with Howden, of course, probably for, in regards to the car insurance, and, insuring the assets that they offer. So this is really good news. On top of that, they have, very good marketing, very good engagement, and they have some big influencers on board, the likes of Alex Becker, who is going to shill this project. So it is going to pump at some stage. But ultimately, there is a use case for this, in terms of the vehicle industry, and the token has good utility as well. And I do think this is also worth a look. Very high risk, of course, guys, but in my opinion, is definitely worth a look. And the final one on the list is another, well, it used to be a high cap. It is now what you could consider a mid cap in the form of Beam in the gaming sector. Of course, guys, gaming is very dead right now. And, is it going to be dead forever? Of course not. It is going to have a recovery. Even if that comes later in the year, who knows, guys, but it will come back. And one of the main projects, one of the biggest potential projects is, in my opinion, Beam. Now, it does come with that risk, guys. We've seen, certain gaming studios who have abandoned ship because they just couldn't secure funding. One thing that gives me a bit of confidence with Beam, they do have the reserve in terms of the treasury. They do have some, assets there, some, cash there. But ultimately, I do still believe in this. I think this can have a big comeback. Also, layer one, also within AI as well. So yeah, guys, Beam for me, it has been frustrating, but ultimately you do need to have patience, guys. This game isn't easy, crypto isn't easy, and you need to have that patience to wait for a narrative to come, guys. So if you're buying currently now, pretty much at the bottom, I do believe you can potentially be rewarded. But guys, of course, who knows what's going to happen with all of what's going on in the world, and ultimately which narrative is going to pump next, guys. But for me, these are 7 altcoins. I think 7 altcoins that I am currently DCing into, which I do think have potential, guys. There are more that I'm still holding, and I'll cover them as well. But these are ones which I think are at good levels to accumulate, guys. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you're currently buying, and let me know your thoughts on these altcoins as well, your targets, and just your thoughts on the overall market. And I'll see you soon for the next video.